Hey guys, Jenny Couch back here again with our weekly series, Talking Social. I'm really excited this week to talk to you guys a little bit about one of my favorite topics, something that is near and dear to my heart because a lot of my clients and my own business when I launched had no marketing budget. So I want to talk this week a little bit about how you can grow your social media audience organically even if you don't have a marketing budget that you can leverage. Now, most companies are going to get to a point where you've sort of tapped out that organic growth and you're going to have to start spending some money to be able to continue to grow your audience. But especially in those early days when you're building up your brand, you're getting clients on board, you're trying to figure out your path as an entrepreneur or small business owner, you may not have a lot of money or any money at all that you can throw into social media. So don't despair. There are definitely ways that you can still grow your audience, still get your name and your brand out there and generate leads for your business without having money to put into the game. We talked about some of these tips a little bit in our blog post last week, which focused on how you buy 25% in just 1 week. So some of those tips will apply to this particular topic as well. So let's go ahead and get into it then. I feel like I should be doing this outside. It's such a lovely day here in Northern Virginia. I hope it is the same for other folks as well. So the first thing that you'll want to focus on when you are trying to grow your audience organically without the benefit of a marketing budget is make sure, and I hit on this all the time in a lot of the content that I put out there, but you have to post consistently. And what I mean when I say consistently is not, well, I'm posting 3 times a week, so that's good enough, right? No, definitely not. You have got to be posting every single day, at least once a day on any platform that you have your brand on. So if you've got Facebook, if you've got Pinterest, if you've got Instagram, make sure you are posting at least once a day. If you're on LinkedIn, make sure you get a post a day up there. If you are on Twitter, you need to be posting more than once a day. You need to be creating 5 to 6 unique posts. You need to be retweeting people. So a few times a week is not going to hack it if you're trying to grow your audience on these platforms with no marketing budget. Now, I know a lot of people get freaked out when I tell them that they need to be posting consistently every day. They feel like they have to be creating totally unique from scratch content every single day to post. That's not true. You can reshare things that you found somewhere else. So I will often post, especially on LinkedIn, articles that interest me and just add a few sentences on why that's relevant to the space that I work in, or why I think this is interesting news, or what my takeaways from those articles were. You can share videos. You can share graphics that others have produced. So there are a lot of ways to make sure that you're consistently posting every day without feeling like you've got this pressure on you to constantly be generating totally unique content. Now, that being said, of course, the more unique content that you get out there, the more likely that you are going to be able to reach new audiences, and the greater benefit you'll get from that because it is your unique branded content. But, especially if you are in a startup mode or you're a new business and you're running that whole show on your own and you've got to do, finance and accounting and hiring and all the back end stuff, you may not have time to be creating solid, unique content every day. So look for ways that you can pull content that has already been created, add a little bit on top of that about your takeaway from it, why you think this is helpful to your audience, what else can you learn from it, that type of thing, and just start to use that to make sure that you're getting content up every single day on each platform consistently. This is also why, and we talked about this a little bit in our video last week, I really encourage new businesses to not stretch themselves too thin with too many platforms. Pick 2 to 3 and really, really focus on those. The platforms that you pick are going to vary depending on the type of business that you are running or your ultimate goals that you want to achieve with your social media. But you do want to make sure that you are prioritizing appropriately and being able to invest the time and the attention that you need to help grow your audience organically. So another thing that you can be doing on a daily basis to help organically grow your audience is following people. So every day, get on each platform that you have a presence on and follow 20 people. Get on Instagram, follow 20 people. Get on Twitter, follow 20 people. Get on LinkedIn and like other pages or try to connect with new folks that work in your space. It's so easy to find 20 people to follow each day that there's really no reason that you shouldn't be doing this consistently. And following people every single day is going to do a couple of things for you. Oftentimes those people will follow you back, so you're growing your audience, exactly what you want to achieve. It may also be a good opportunity for you to start a connection with that person. So a lot of clients of mine have found success by reaching out to folks on Twitter or reaching out to folks on Facebook or LinkedIn and just saying, hey, I've got this product. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more. Can we set up a call or a meeting and see if there might be some synergy between the two of us? So make sure that you are constantly, every single day, following new people to help grow your audience and potentially generate new clients for you. And there are a number of ways that you can find new folks to follow that are relevant to your business, because you do want to make sure that you're not just arbitrarily following, random people in Spain that don't have any potential engagement or any potential benefit to you from your business. But you can do things like look for hashtags that are popular within the space that you work in. Take a look at some of your favorite brands or accounts. Who are they following? And go follow those people. It's really, really easy to get out there and find those people to follow every single day. A lot of the platforms will recommend people to you to follow based on other accounts that you already do. So every day I scroll through on Twitter and Instagram and I see who they're recommending I should follow today, and I'll often follow those people. So that's another great tactic that you can use to organically grow your business when you may not have marketing budget to put into that. We hit on this a little bit last week, I think, as well, but you want to make sure that you are consistently using hashtags. Always, always, always use hashtags. This is one of the easiest ways to get yourself found by new people or get yourself injected into new conversations where you can reach new audiences. It's also one of the easiest things that you can do. It requires almost no work on your part. All you really need to do is make sure that you keep an eye on trending hashtags, and if something pops up, if something starts to trend that is relevant to your business or to your brand, find a way to jump in on that conversation. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be amazing. Just start, getting in on that conversation that is happening so that you're showing up as people are searching for that hashtag on those platforms. The other thing that I recommend to folks is to keep a list of frequently used hashtags that are relevant to your industry. So I have a whole list of hashtags that are used within social media marketing. A lot of them I use on nearly every single post that I put out there. Social media marketing, digital marketing, etc. On Instagram especially, I read an article recently that said, I think it was, for people that include 30 or more hashtags, they are, it was like 75% more likely to grow their audience rapidly on Instagram or something like that. I'll have to see if I can find it and post it for you guys, because I remember being really surprised by those numbers. So don't feel like you need to limit yourself to just a handful of hashtags, particularly on a platform like Instagram. Use as many as you can, because the more you use, the more likely that you are going to be found by new audiences. And keep that running track of the hashtags that are relevant to your industry, because that's also going to make it really easy for you to just copy and paste and dump them into a post when you need them and not have to write out every single hashtag every single time. Now, obviously on a platform like Twitter, you hit some limitations with your character limits, but you still want to make sure that you find ways to squeeze in 1 or 2 hashtags so that you're getting yourself in front of the right audiences, you're getting the right folks to see you. etc., etc. So do not miss out on the opportunity to use hashtags to help get your brand out to new audiences. Too many people do not use hashtags in their posts, and you're really missing out on what is probably the easiest way to expand your audience, because it essentially takes no time at all. So another thing to keep in mind too, that can help you grow your brand organically is tagging influencers. So I think most folks are familiar with the trend of third-party influencers and reaching out to influencers and turning them into advocates for your brand. If you're not, essentially what it means is identifying leaders within your industry who have large social media followings who can in some way help to promote your brand. So maybe they share a post of yours, or they retweet your tweet, or maybe it goes even farther than that and you provide them with some sort of, free product that they will then review on their particular platform. But essentially what's happening in those situations is you are finding a way to partner with an individual who has a built-in audience already. So you do not need to do the legwork. Essentially, they've already done it. They've built up that audience. And because you are targeting folks who have who are somehow complementary to the type of work that you do, you are also thereby reaching people who already have a vested interest in your brand or your product. And what the advantage to this is you can reach hundreds of thousands of people by partnering with these third-party influencers without having to put in that legwork of growing your own audience. Now, it's not enough to simply tag them in a post and say, hey, I'm super cool, please share my brand and my product, because that would be awesome. You've got to, as you would with any client or any customer of yours, you have to figure out what can you offer to them that is going to bring them value, that will interest and excite them enough that they would be willing to advocate for your brand or your product to their audience. Because remember that they're the ones that have put in the hard work here. They have done the legwork to build up and nurture that audience and continually provide content and engage those folks that are following them. So they're not going to just put, at least in most situations, they're not just going to put anything out to their followers unless they truly believe that it is something that could benefit them or be of interest to their followers. So make sure that you're finding unique ways to reach out to influencers, especially if you want to take this sort of beyond just getting a retweet or something like that. If all you're looking to do is just get one of your tweets retweeted or something like that, then it may be enough to just simply tag folks in a particularly, interesting or well-worded tweet. I had a client of mine who had one of their tweets retweeted by a large professional association, and all they really did was take a picture at a meeting, included a couple of sentences on why it was so great seeing so many people out and energized about this particular organization, and then the larger professional organization retweeted it. So they had, a pretty easy time achieving that end goal. But something to keep in mind though is when they tagged the larger professional organization, they did not have the end goal of getting it retweeted by them. They just figured, let me see what happens here. But if you're really looking to form, you're looking to get that third-party influencer to do more than just simply retweet a tweet of yours or something like that, you really want them to be a partner or help to promote your brand in the longer term, then you need to be thinking about what can you do to target them in an effective manner that's going to provide them something that will be of interest to their community, be of benefit to their community. So you're really going to have to put some time and some thought and some strategic planning into that before you start targeting them. But if you do that, and if you come up with something that would appeal to these influencers or these third-party influencers, you can very rapidly grow your social media following organically if they share that with their audiences, because now they're driving traffic to you, and you're going to see a pretty significant jump in your following. That one tweet from a client of mine that got retweeted resulted in a 35% increase in their Twitter followers. They had I don't know, 30,000 impressions, I think, and over 200 retweets. So it is a really effective way to achieve a pretty significant amount of growth if you put the time and the energy into developing a pitch that's going to appeal to that influencer. All right, the next recommendation then that I've got for folks today, if you're operating with no marketing budget and still want to see your social media audience grow, is to create video content. This is another one of those themes that I harp on constantly, but video is just the absolute most powerful form of content that you can be creating today. And you know, this is not like 5 or 10 years ago where it required a full-on production company and tons of money and tons of effort and, you know, backdrops and professional video equipment to do. You know, all you have to do is take your iPhone, turn on, you know, get on Facebook, hit live stream as I did today, and now your video is out there in the world. So I think there's still a sense that folks feel like they've got to put money and you know, ages and ages of planning into video content before they can put it out there, and that stops a lot of people from utilizing this medium. But I really would encourage folks today to sort of set those preconceptions aside and just start when it comes to video content. Pick one thing today that you can get onto Facebook, or you can get onto Instagram stories, or you can get onto Periscope and do a 30-second to 1-minute video. And you know, there are all sorts of topics that you can talk about. You know, give people sort of a backstage pass to your business. You know, show them, if you make t-shirts, for instance, show them how your t-shirts are made. You know, showcase a new product of yours. Talk about why you started your business. Talk about your background. Talk about introduce people to, you know, your dogs. Just do something. You know, the key with video content, as is the key with most things in life, is to just start. You just have to start somewhere. You have to set those fears aside. You have to stop worrying about, I'm going to look awkward, and you know, I forgot my lipstick, or I don't have my mascara on, or whatever it is. You've got to set those all aside, and you just have to start. Just do 30 seconds to 1 minute on any topic. Get it out there, and I promise that it will get easier. The first few times that I did a Facebook live stream, I cannot tell you how terrified and nervous I was. And I look back at those videos, and it is a little awkward. You know, I certainly stumbled a little bit and was perhaps not as dynamic or prepared for those situations as I am now. But the more you do it, the more natural and comfortable it becomes, as does anything. You know, I would go back to the old cliche of, it's just like riding a bike. The first few times you ride a bike, it feels like the weirdest thing on the planet, and it doesn't make any sense how anybody can ever possibly ride a bike successfully. But then, you know, one day you get on that bike and suddenly it clicks, and you're like, ah, I got this. Look at me. I'm riding this bike like a pro. I'm going to be in the Tour de France. And really, that's what creating video content is like. You know, the first few times you do it, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel hard. You're going to be judging every single minute aspect about yourself, but you just have to do it, and you just have to start putting it out there. Something that might help, especially for those that are very new to video content, and I go back and forth on this, but don't watch the first few videos that you do. If you do, you're going to judge every small mistake that you make, and you're going to talk yourself out of doing future videos. So do the videos, put them out there, critique based on how you think you did during the video, but do not go back and watch them. And that's really probably the best advice, you know, the two best pieces of advice I can give for getting over that fear of video content is just start doing it. Don't go back and watch yourself. Now, once you get into a rhythm with it and you're doing videos more consistently, then there's definitely a lot that you can learn from what you're putting out there. You know, tomorrow I'll go back and I'll watch this live stream and I'll see, okay, where could I perhaps have hit my points more efficiently? Are there other things that I could have added? Could I have been more succinct in certain parts? But I'm now pretty comfortable with video as a medium that I use, so I don't feel that sort of sense of, that early sense of, my hair is a mess, and I stumbled too much and I said too much. So, what I would really encourage is just don't watch those first few videos, because you'll never do it again, and you really need to be putting it out there, especially if you don't have a significant marketing budget that you can rely upon to help reach new audiences. Video content there was a recent study that was done that said by 2019, over 80% of internet traffic is going to be video content. So if you are not putting videos out there, your competitors are, and you're missing out on a major opportunity to help to promote and sell your brand in a way that clients want to engage with it. So find a way to get over that fear of doing video content and just get out there. I'll preview that in June we're going to be putting out a 30 days of video content challenge for folks to participate in. So each day we'll have a theme or a topic, and we'll encourage you to do a 30-second to 1-minute clip so that you can get in that regular habit of doing video content and hopefully break the fear of putting it out there, and know that millions of people are putting video content out there every single day, and a lot of us look ridiculous when we do it. So even if you feel ridiculous, you're not alone. We all feel that same fear and pressure, but just start doing it. So the last thing then that I wanted to talk a little bit about today to help you grow your audience organically if you don't have a marketing budget to put out there, we talked in the beginning about making sure that you're posting consistently, and that is important. But I mentioned that especially when you're starting, you don't necessarily need to do unique content or messaging with every single post that you share. But especially if you want to see pretty strong growth, you do want to make sure that you are mixing up those reshares that you are doing with unique content and messaging. Unique content is what will help you to grow your audience, because people are eager to learn. People want to learn. They want unique content. They want insight that nobody else can give them into what is happening. So if you are producing that and you are delivering it to your clients and your audiences in a way that others in your industry are not, that is going to set you apart from your competitors and help to get you noticed. So think about how you can dedicate some time to get that, make sure that you are creating unique content. I would encourage folks, if they're just starting this, to focus on getting truly unique content out 1 to 3 times a week. And what do I mean when I say unique content? I mean blog posts, podcasts, infographics, video content, anything that is uniquely yours, that you own. There are so many different types of content that you can create these days. Webinars, we can go on, and maybe that's a good idea. One of these videos, one of our Talking Social sessions, I should talk about all the different types of content that you can create, but you really need to make sure that you're putting something unique out there to your audience and to your followers, because that's what people want to see. They want to see something new, something different, what can they learn from you? So make sure that you're finding some time to create that unique content and get it out to your followers. And when you do, make sure that you use your hashtags, you're tagging influencers, and you're finding other ways to use some of the tips we've shared today to hopefully help you grow your audience organically. The last thing I'll say about unique content, and this is something that I'm not always great about, is make sure that you get the full value out of that content that you're creating. And what do I mean by that? I mean, don't just share it that one time. If you write a blog post, share it, publish it, share it that day, but then a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, share it again. And that way you are still able to leverage that effort that you put into creating that unique content to get more runway out of it than you would if you just post it that single individual time. You're also more likely to reach people that you probably didn't the first time that you posted it. So look for ways to reuse that unique content that you're creating to really get the full value out of it. Maybe a news story comes out and you've done a blog post on it a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago that's relevant in some way, repost it. Maybe there's a trend in your industry that changes and you've written about it in the past few months. Post it. Find ways to look for good opportunities to make sure that you share and reshare that content that you're creating, because you're putting a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, and you really want to get as much value as you possibly can out of it. So that's it for our Talking Social session today, guys. Thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. We'll be back again next week with another topic soon to be released. And in the meantime, you can find us on Facebook at Couch Digital Strategies. We are on Twitter at Couch_digital. We're on Instagram at Couch Digital Strategies. And you can always find us on the web at www.couchdigitalstrategies.com. Thanks so much, guys. For those in Northern Virginia, enjoy the nice weather, and we'll talk again soon.